Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to Supernatural Encounters. In this video, we will share the shocking experience of a man who had a near-death experience and saw Jesus, and he showed him the true purpose of every pet we have in our lives. When an animal loves us, its affection is pure, steadfast, and eternal. But what happens after death, is it truly the end? Or is there something greater awaiting us? The Bible has something to say about this, and what you will discover today will change the way you view life after death. An extraordinary experience is about to reveal the truth that no one has ever told you before. We begin. Please support my work for free. Write in the comments where you are listening from, knowing that we are connected wherever we may be. This unites us as one big Supernatural Encounters family. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and get ready. What you are about to discover might forever change the way you see the bond with all the animals you have loved.
My name is Giovanni. I am 58 years old, and I live in Erie City, northwestern Pennsylvania. My life took a devastating turn 3 years ago when my wife Carrie suddenly died after an aggressive cancer was discovered. There was no time to prepare, to hope, or to delude myself. In just a few months, the disease tore her away from me, leaving me alone in a deafening silence. My life became grey and empty. I spent my days in front of the TV watching programs that didn't really interest me and went out only to do the grocery shopping. Nothing made sense anymore. I had already lost my mother to sudden incident years before, and it had taken me a long time to recover, but this time was different. I knew I would never get over it. Carrie was the woman of my life, my perfect companion, an extraordinary wife. She loved our home, made everything special, and cooked divinely. Then one day something changed. It was a cold afternoon, and while returning from grocery shopping, I noticed a cardboard box near a dumpster. I wouldn't have paid much attention to it, but a faint whimper made me stop. I approached, and inside I found a puppy. It was thin, trembling, its eyes dulled by hunger and cold. I looked around, but no one was there. Someone had abandoned it there, condemning it to die alone. I had never been particularly fond of animals. I'd never wanted them in my house. But at that moment I couldn't turn away. I picked the little one up hesitantly and wrapped it in my jacket. I would take it home, nurse it back to health, and once recovered, I planned to take it to the shelter, or so I thought. At first, the puppy was far from the idea of a companion I had in mind. Lively, noisy, and downright chaotic, it broke objects, ran everywhere, and every attempt to train it ended in utter failure. My frustration grew day by day, already suffocated by grief. I now found myself drowning in chaos. As well, I couldn't see any value in it. To me, it was just another burden in an already difficult life. The house, once quiet and empty, now echoed with its barks in my irritation. Every ignored command, every mischief made me feel overwhelmed. And yet, amid that confusion, I began to sense something strange, that the puppy. Before we continue, just take a second. If this story is already making you rethink what you know about life or what comes after, give this video a like, drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear your take. And if you're drawn to these kinds of stories, consider subscribing for more like this. Now, back to the experience, because what happened next will truly challenge everything you thought you knew. The puppy wasn't just a problem. It seemed as if it were trying to tell me something. There was an intensity in its eyes, a persistence in its gestures, as if it were there for a greater reason that I still couldn't understand. Weeks passed, and as it regained strength, something inside me began to change. Every day I watched it transform. Its body grew stronger, its gaze brightened, and it was as if a part of me that I had believed dead was awakening. The pain that had held me captive began to crack, as if that little creature with its overwhelming presence was slowly opening a gap in my heart. It was then that I decided to give it a name. It couldn't be just any name, because by that point I felt that its presence held a deeper meaning. I named it Willow, like the patriarch who braved the storm to bring forth new life, because perhaps, without my even realizing it, I too was beginning to traverse my personal deluge, and he was my ark, just as my life was starting to feel worthwhile again. Just as I was rediscovering small moments of serenity and learning to appreciate the simple things. Everything changed in an instant, a moment, a fraction of a second, and my existence along with Willow's was forever upended. It was a beautiful day, the sun shining high in the sky, and a gentle breeze made the air perfect for a walk. I strolled along the sidewalk enjoying the afternoon. Nothing seemed to foreshadow the drama that was about to unfold when we reached a crosswalk. I stopped in front of the pedestrian stripes. A car slowed down and stopped to let us cross. With a quick glance to both sides, I stepped forward with Willow just slightly ahead of me. Then, all of a sudden, the roar of two engines shattered the silence. Two cars burst out from behind the stopped vehicle, speeding recklessly. They were racing, indifferent to the fact that before them were a human life and an innocent life. Time seemed to slow, my breath caught, my heart skipped a beat. I saw the headlights approaching at a frantic pace. I shouted, "Willows!" name, trying to pull him back by the leash. Too late. There was a loud crash, a sudden impact. Willow was struck full on the leash I held, snapped violently, dragging me along with him. My body lifted off the ground, suspended in what felt like an eternal moment before crashing down with brutal force. My head hit the edge of the road hard, then nothing, only darkness, deep, absolute. I found myself floating in darkness, no pain, no fear, only a sense of emptiness and suspension. Then, slowly, a warm light began to filter through the shadows, a light that didn't come from outside, but seemed to emanate from within like a gentle burning fire. And it was then that I saw him. Before me stood a majestic, radiant figure enveloped in an aura of pure peace, and stories like these remind us just how fragile and mysterious life truly is. It's in moments like this we realize the line between life and death is thinner than we think. If that gave you chills, like this video. What's your take on the afterlife? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for more journeys beyond the veil. Now, back to the experience, because what happens next might just change how you see everything. Of pure peace and love. Jesus, his eyes were filled with compassion, and his presence radiated a warmth I had never experienced before. Giovanni, his voice said, gently, reassuringly, as if wrapping my soul in an embrace. Do not fear. You are here for a reason greater than you can imagine. Immediately, all my fear melted away. An overwhelming sense of peace washed over me, as if the weight of my life, my pain, and my loneliness had suddenly vanished. Jesus looked at me with deep understanding. There is something you must know, something concerning both you and Willow. His words struck me deeply. I felt his gaze probing into me, touching parts of my soul I hadn't even known existed. Something I must know, a seal of help, Jesus. Nodded. Willow was sent to you for this very reason. That day when you found him in that box, it wasn't a coincidence. A shiver ran through me. I replayed in my mind the moment I had found him, crouched, trembling, reduced to skin and bones. He had suffered as much as I had, from being separated from his mother, to enduring mistreatment, to being abandoned, nearly at death's door with no hope left. And then he found me, a broken soul, just like his. Jesus motioned toward me with a gentle gesture. You and Willow are two wounded souls who found each other. His suffering was yours, his confusion was yours, but you chose one another, you saved each other. I was overwhelmed by an indescribable emotion. It was true, in all those months I hadn't merely taken Willow in, he had taken me in too. Have you ever considered, Giovanni, that Willow understood you? His words stirred something deep within me. How many times had I talked to him confiding my pain? How many times in the darkest nights, when Carrie's absence was almost unbearable, had I turned and met his gaze? How many times? Without a single word had he rested his muzzle on my hands, as if to say, I am here, and what if he truly did understand? Jesus smiled. The bond you have formed with Willow is stronger than you imagine. It is not merely the affection between a man and his dog. It is a bond forged between two kindred souls recognizing and understanding one another. Tears streamed down my face. Lord, I never saw animals this way. I thought they were just creatures that a man grows fond of, nothing more. Jesus shook his head gently. Animals are much more than that, Giovanni. They are a gift from God, tools of love and healing when a man loses his way, when his pain becomes unbearable. God often sends them. I closed my eyes, absorbing every word. Willow had been sent to me. He had been chosen for me. It wasn't an accident. He wasn't just an abandoned dog that I rescued. He was the one who saved me. But, Lord, why do animals seem to understand human suffering better than humans themselves? Jesus looked at me with profound intensity. Giovanni listened carefully. Animals do not have a soul like humans. They are not held accountable in the same way, for they do not sin. They do not choose between good and evil. But they do have a spirit, a spark of life that comes from God. And nothing that comes from God is ever lost. Do you mean that I will see him again? That Willow will have a place in your kingdom? Jesus nodded. Is it not written, for the creation itself eagerly awaits the revealing of the children of God? For the creation was subjected to futility, not by its own choice, but by the will of the one who subjected it, in the hope that the creation itself will be set free from its bondage to decay and brought into the glorious freedom of the children of God. Romans 8, verse 21. I paused, reflecting. Does this mean that animals too will be redeemed when everything is fulfilled? Eden is destroyed, creation will be restored. Nothing created with love will be lost. In my kingdom, every living being will find its place, and animals will no longer be subjected to suffering. Jesus then showed me another vision. I saw a new, wondrous land. The air was crystal clear, the rivers flowed pure, and across endless meadows, animals of every species ran free without fear. I saw wolves and lambs resting together, lions resting beside children, and horses galloping over golden expanses. And then among them I saw him. Willow, he was there, strong and healthy, his energy radiant, his eyes sparkled with joy, and his spirit was free from all pain. He was searching for me, waiting for me. Willow will be there. Giovanni, just like all those who have loved and served with a pure heart. Tears streamed down my face. Lord, does this mean that every animal we have loved will return to us? Jesus nodded softly. Not all animals share a deep bond with humans. Some are simply creatures of the earth. But those that have been part of your journey, those who have loved you and whom you have loved, will have a place by your side, for love is never wasted. I collapsed, overwhelmed by the revelation. So, our bond will never be broken. Never. The love that comes from God is eternal. Then the light around me began to fade. I felt a pull drawing me back into my body, the real world becoming clear once again. Before departing, Jesus said one last thing. When you return, tell others what you have seen. The world has forgotten the value of God's creatures. Remind mankind that every life is precious and that every bond of love is a sacred gift. The last thing I saw was Willow, still injured but alive. Then I woke up. The vision before me was heart-wrenching. I saw Willow lying on the asphalt, his body motionless, his breath shallow and broken. Blood stained his coat, but in his eyes there was still life. A spark of resistance, a will to fight. My heart clenched painfully. Lord, Willow has suffered so much in his life. He was abandoned, he experienced the pain of loneliness, and now this. Why did he have to endure all of this? Jesus looked at me with infinite gentleness. Giovanni, the suffering of animals reflects the suffering of our fallen world. When sin entered the world, creation itself became tainted. The pain, the death, the cruelty, none of this was my Father's original plan. He showed me an image. I saw Eden in all its pristine beauty. Animals lived in harmony with one another, and with man there was no fear, no struggle for survival, no death. It was like this in the beginning. Jesus said, "Animals were not created to suffer, nor to be mistreated. They were part of God's perfect design, and in His kingdom they will once again reflect that perfection." I lowered my gaze to Willow. His body trembled, yet his heart still beat. Will he recover? Jesus placed a hand on my shoulder. It will take months, care, and patience, but Willow will rise again, and your bond will be stronger than ever. I felt a lump in my throat, Lord, and when his time comes, when he dies, will I see him again? Do animals have a soul? Jesus fixed me with a deep, intense look. Giovanni, listen carefully. Animals do not have a soul. In the same way that humans do, they are not called to answer for their deeds as humans are, for they do not sin or choose between good and evil. But they do have a spirit, a spark of life, given by God, and nothing that comes from God is ever lost. You mean to say that I will see him again? That Willow will have a place in your kingdom? Jesus nodded. Is it not written, for the creation itself waits an eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed? For the creation was subjected to futility, not of its own will, but by the will of the one who subjected it, in the hope that the creation itself will be liberated from its bondage to decay and brought into the freedom and the world. We will follow. Glory of the children of God. Romans 8:1, 19-21. I pause to reflect. Does that mean that even animals will be redeemed? When all is accomplished in sin is destroyed, creation will be restored, nothing that has been created with love will be lost. In my kingdom, every living being will find its place, and animals will no longer suffer. Jesus then showed me another vision. I saw a marvelous new land. The air was clear, the rivers flowed pure, and across endless meadows, animals of every species ran free without fear. I saw wolves and lambs resting together, lions lying beside children, and horses galloping through golden fields. And then among them, I saw him, Willow. He was there, strong and healthy, his energy radiant, his eyes shone with joy, his spirit was unburdened by pain. He was searching for me, waiting for me. Willow will be there, Giovanni, just like all those who have loved and served with a pure heart. Tears streamed down my face. Lord, does this mean that every animal we have loved will return to us? I asked. Before we continue, each story opens a new door into the unknown. If you're as fascinated by these experiences as I am, go ahead and like this video, share your theory or belief in the comments, and hit subscribe so we can uncover more mysteries together. Now, back to this extraordinary account. I asked Jesus, nodded gently. Not all animals form a deep bond with humans. Some are simply creatures of the earth. But those who have been part of your journey, those who have loved you and whom you have loved, will have a place by your side, for love is never wasted. I collapsed, overwhelmed by the revelation. So our bond will never be broken. Never. The love that comes from God is eternal. Then the light around me began to fade. I felt a pull drawing me back into my body, the real world growing clearer. Before leaving, Jesus said one last thing. When you return, share what you have seen. The world has forgotten the value of God's creatures. Remind mankind that every life is precious and that every bond of love is a sacred gift. The last thing I saw was Willow, still injured but alive. Then I woke up. The days following the accident were a whirlwind of pain, fear, and hope. I remained in the hospital for weeks as my body tried to heal, but my mind was elsewhere, in a dark, cold room where one question echoed relentlessly: would Willow make it? The veterinarians were skeptical. The impact had been devastating. His condition was critical, yet Willow did not respond. He lay motionless, teetering between life and death. Every night I prayed with all my heart, God, and said, before we go deeper, take a moment to reflect on what you've heard so far. These experiences, real or beyond our understanding, have a way of stirring something inside us. Did this NDE challenge your beliefs or confirm them? Click like if it did. Leave a comment with your own thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for weekly accounts of the extraordinary. Now, back to the moment that changed everything for them. God and said, you sent him to save me, please do not take him away. Days turned into weeks, then one morning, as I sat beside him, my eyes heavy with exhaustion and my voice broken by tears, I felt something, a slight movement, a deeper breath. Then slowly Willow opened his eyes. His pupils searched for me, dim yet present, and in that moment when our gazes met, I felt something powerful surged through my heart. He was still here. The doctor said his recovery would be long, difficult, but to me it was already a miracle. You did it. Willow, we made it. In that moment I understood his battle was my battle. Our pain was shared and our healing would be together. Months passed and Willow returned to life. He was no longer the same. The marks of that terrible night were etched on his body, but his spirit remained intact, even stronger, even brighter. But time moves for everyone. A few months ago, I faced the hardest test of all, the one I knew was coming. Yet I had hoped to postpone just a little longer. Willow had grown old, his pace had slowed, and his eyes looked more tired, and yet he had never left my side. He followed me everywhere, always present, always vigilant, just as he had his entire life. Then one morning, while I was taking him out into the yard for his therapy, it happened. Willow stopped. He looked at me then. With an incredible effort, he wagged his tail and took a few steps on his own. I knelt down before him, tears streaming down my face. "Hey, my friend, I'm here." He looked at me, and in his eyes I saw everything: love, gratitude, the sorrow of having to say goodbye, but also peace. He knew that his time had come. "I love you, Willow. Thank you for everything." With one final effort, he barely moved his tail, as if to say he loved me too, that he was ready. Then he closed his eyes, his body relaxed in my arms, and I realized he was gone. I don't know how long I remained there, kneeling with my face buried in his fur, tears falling uncontrollably. The pain overwhelmed me like a giant wave, leaving me breathless and without strength. Was it really over? God had sent him to me at a moment when I had lost everything. He had been my seal of help, my companion, my light. He saved me when I no longer wanted to live, and now he was gone. I held him close for the last time. "Thank you, Willow. Thank you for loving me more than I deserved." The pain was unbearable, yet I remembered Jesus' words, "In my kingdom, nothing that you have loved will be lost." I closed my eyes, letting those words wrap around me, and in that moment, amid the despair, I felt a deep, abiding peace. Willow was not truly gone. He never would be today. Every morning when I wake up, his spot beside my bed remains empty, but his spirit is everywhere, in the memories I carry in my heart, in the moments when I still feel his presence by my side, in the certainty that one day, when God calls me to, I will see him again. And we will run together, without fear, without pain, forever after. Everything I've been through, after having seen the truth with my own eyes, I know that I can no longer remain silent. This message was not only for me, but for anyone who has suffered, for anyone who is loved and lost, for all those who have met an animal's gaze and found in it comfort, hope, and pure love. Jesus showed me that animals are not mere travel companions. They are not accidental, nor are they accessories in our lives. They are a divine gift, instruments through which God speaks to us, sustains and guides us in our darkest moments. Willow was not just a dog, he was a sign from God for me. And the truth is that God sends these signs to many, but how many of us recognize them? How many understand that those faithful eyes that look at us every day are not merely earthly creatures, but living testimonies of divine love? How many times do we overlook the value of a simple gesture of affection, of a silent yet constant presence, without realizing that right there beside us is the sign we've been searching for? When I found Willow, I thought I had saved him. In reality, he had saved me. God knew that. Before we continue, take a moment to reflect. These aren't just stories, they're glimpses into something deeper. If this one resonated with you, give it a like, leave your insights in the comments, and join us by subscribing for more experiences that defy explanation. Now, back to the journey, because what happens next will truly challenge what we think we know about life and death. I needed him just as much as he needed me. He had been hurt, abandoned, cast aside by the world, just as I felt after losing Anna. Our sufferings intertwined, and without even realizing it, we became each other's support. It wasn't a coincidence, it wasn't by chance, it was God's design. Animals are not objects, nor are they possessions to be disposed of at will. They are precious creatures, entrusted to us to be loved, respected, and protected. The Bible makes it clear, God cares for them, and He is concerned about every single creature, even the smallest, because every life has value. If the Lord Himself watches over them, how can we allow ourselves to mistreat, ignore, or abandon them? Every time an animal suffers because of man's cruelty, it is as if a part of creation itself is being desecrated. But every time we welcome them, care for them, and offer them love, we are answering a divine call. If there is an animal in your life that loves you, that waits for you when you come home, that follows you wherever you go, don't dismiss it as just a companion. It is a sign. It is the way God tells you you are not alone. And lie with. If you don't have an animal by your side, if you feel an emptiness inside, do not despair. Perhaps your sign has yet to arrive. Perhaps there is a creature that needs you just as much as you need it. My experience has taught me that when a man endures the deepest pain, yet keeps his faith strong, a sign of help, a seal of hope, is sent to him from heaven. A pure soul chosen by God to support him in the darkness and accompany him on the path of faith. I didn't know that Willow was my seal until I looked back and clearly saw the path that God had laid out for us. Perhaps there has been a Willow in your life too. Perhaps there is one with you now, or perhaps one is yet to come. But do not ignore the signs. Do not underestimate the value of a silent love, of constant companionship, of a presence that comforts you without words. Jesus showed me that in His kingdom. Nothing that has been loved will ever be lost. The time we spend with them is never in vain. The bond we share does not dissolve in death. My Willow left me, but I know that I will see him again. I know that one day, when God calls me, I will find him there waiting for me. And this time we will run together without fear, without pain, without time. If there is one thing I want to leave behind in this life, it is this message. Animals are a gift from God. They have been entrusted to us to help us, to love us, and to teach us the purest meaning of loyalty and compassion. Let's not ignore this gift. Let's not waste the opportunity to be for them what they are for us, a reflection of God's love on earth. If you've made it this far, it means you have a big heart. Let me know in the comments by writing Amen or the country you are listening from. If you love animals and believe in the words of the Lord, share this video with your groups of friends and family. We all need to truly understand why animals are among us, and this video is the only one that explains it sincerely and truthfully in accordance with the Bible. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel and leave a like on the video, thank you from the bottom of my heart. May God bless you. I hope to see you again on my channel, Supper and Natural Encounters.